Hello guys, I hope you are doing pretty fucking dope. So in this video we'll talk about how to create these slick animations using GSAP. So this is the website that won our site of the day. Now if I reload the page, as you can see that the animation looks pretty much cool. So if I now scroll, it is smoothly transition into this image like this. So now if I scroll back, the animation also reverses back. So I really like this type of animation, so I have recreated this in on my version. So now I will show you my version of the animation. So now if I reload the page, as you can see that this is my own version of the animation, and it has like magnetic type of effect. Now if you hover over the images, it moves toward the cursor, as you can see that, like this. So it has all it has the magnetic effect. And now if I scroll that, images will smoothly fade out, and I even scroll that and this image will come, and after that the next section will come right this. So yeah, this is the animation that we will build today using React and GSAP. So yeah, now let's get right into the code editor. Now we are inside the code editor. So yeah, this is the code from my previous video where I built the team section. So that is the code right here. So now what I will do is I will create another folder inside the source directory called Telescope, because the original website name was Telescope, T-E-L-E-S-C-O-P, Telescope, and inside that I will create a section called hero.jsx. So it is a hero section of this award-winning website. So now if I save it, and if I go to us and if I reload this page, so yeah, this is the animation from our previous code, so no worries, I will remove that and I will render it right here. So yeah, everything is working perfectly fine. So now what I will do is, inside this hero section, firstly, if you look at the original website, so what we will do is, first of all, forget about the animation. We will create this HTML first. We will create these images and its position, and we will absolutely position these images around the container like this. So after the HTML is done, then we will add GSAP animation for that. So to add HTML first, what I will do is I will create image tags and put it right here. So inside the hero section, what I will do is I will write a class name of flags justify center item center, so that everything will be in the center, and I will give the height of screen and bg of like amber of 200 to test it. So now if I save it, as you can see that the styling has been applied. So I will, instead of that, I will give a background of like hashtag f4 f3 f0. So this is like a gray background like this. After that, I will create a div inside this, and I will create an image tag right here, and I will create a class name of object discover, and I will give up like size of 40. Size of 40 means width 40, width 160 px and height 160 px. This is what size 40 does. And for the source, I will give a random image of inside public slash team slash one.jpg, and I will remove this public. Now if I render it, as you can see that the image has been rendered here. So now what I will do is I will create this magnetic effect first. As you can see that uh, when I hover over this image, it's sort of like follows the cursor right here. So every image has this kind of magnetic effect like this. So firstly we will create this magnetic effect inside one images, then we will add that magnetic effect in all of the images. So I will give a like instead of 40, I will give it like 400 px, so that the image looks big and we can test our magnetic effect. So to create the magnetic effect, I will create another file called magnet.gsx, and I will RFC this. So I have already created this magnetic effect. So now what I will do is I will just copy and paste that code right here. So now let's see what this magnetic component does. So this is the props where we will pass and control the magnetic behavior. This is the children and this is the padding. So this is the area around the images where the magnetic effect will trigger. So is a disable state, and this is the strength for the magnet effect. So if you increase this effect, the magnet will have stronger effect. So it is the transition and it is the wrapper and inner class name. So if you see that there is left top width height from this magnetic ref client bounding, what it does is right, it gets the center of the element. So there is center x, center y, and it now for the distance we'll calculate the distance to the mouse. So if the mouse is in within the range of padding, then it will create a active state, right? So if the mouse is uh, around this image position, then it will create a active state which will trigger the magnet effect, right, like this. So if the mouse is right here, it will not create any effect, but if it is in the magnetic effect of the range, so as you can see that the magnet effect is applied. So this is what it does. So it is like the offset which move toward the mouse and controls the resistance. So what it does is like if the mouse position is far, then it will also reset the position and remove the active state, which will alternately remove the magnetic effect. So yeah, this is the code right there. So yeah, we are passing the ref here, and this is the children where we pass any type of HTML element right here. It can be image, video, or any type of text you like, which will have the magnetic effect. So now if I save this, and if I, so after saving it, if I wrap around this element with the magnet element, and if I save this, let's see what it does, right? As you can see that the image has been applied a magnetic effect. As you can see that the image has been applied a magnetic effect, right, like this. So you can also control the padding, like how much padding you want to give. If I give like 100, uh so the magnetic effect will run around the 100 px around these images. So if I get close to the 100 px of the image, then the magnetic effect will trigger like this. So you can give it like this. Yeah, you can also control the strength also, the magnetic strength. If I give 3, and let's see what it does. As you can see that the strength has been decreased, right? So yeah, this is the magnetic effect we are talking about. So the magnetic part is also done. So now what I will do is to position these images uh, around this hero section. I will use the absolute position and position it around this container. So to do that, so there are lots of images right here. So to create these images into my container and randomly position it, what I will do is I will create an array of the images and map it right here. So I will do images equals to like this, so that it will be easier to map it later. So I will also give the ID so that it will be easier for us to animate and target the image later. First image, and the source will be like slash teams slash one.jpg like this, and width will be, you can give it a width like this, like 226. Height will be 212, and left will be 35 bw, right will be, sorry, left, and top will be 24 px like this, right? And strength, so it is the magnetic strength that you can give. So we can also make the strength dynamic, so that if we map that array, we can give dynamic magnetic strength to the each element. So this image can have lot of magnetic strength, or this image can have low magnetic strength. So yeah, this is the array that I am creating. So I have already created that array. So what I will do is I will just copy and paste this array right here like this. As you can see that this is the images array and this is the position from left and top position with height, source, and this is the id and this is the magnetic strength. So now what I will do is I will map the images array. I'll write it like this: images dot map img will get image right here, and inside that I will put it like this, and the key will be image dot id. So whenever you are mapping, you have to provide the key, and for the id also you have to pass it like this: image dot id, because we will be targeting this div with GSAP to animate it later. And for the class name, I'll position this absolutely. And if I am positioning this absolutely, I have to position the parent div relatively, so that the images will be absolutely positioned according to this our parent div, right? So now if I give it like style, I will give it from top it will be 50 bh, and from left it will be 50 bw, so that uh, all the children will be positioned at the likes from the center. Now if I do this like this, the magnet effect has done. So the image is the magnetic strength will be dynamic, so it will come from image dot strength, which will come from the array. For the images, for the source, it will be also dynamic from the image dot source, and for its style, for its width and height, we'll use the array width and height. We'll use it like this. I will get the, sorry, it will be like this. It will be of image dot w in, we will use it in px. And for the height, it will be the same thing, h dot px, sorry, h dot sorry, img dot h in px, like this, right? So now if I save this, and if I go it around here, and if I reload the page, as you can see that the images are positioned at all at once like this. As you can see that the images have been positioned like this because this is the initial position of all of the images. As you can see that the position is from left 21 and top 70 years. This all the position are dynamic. So what I am doing is that this is the initial position of the images, so that at initial the images will be positioned like this, and when it will animate, it will come like this and it will flow like this. So to do that, what I will do is I will have to animate these positions, animate this position on the page reload. So now if I close this right here, and what I will do is I will use GSAP for that. Let's use let's animate the images. For that I will use GSAP hook right here like this, and I will import the GSAP from GSAP, from GSAP. Now firstly what I will do is I will target all of the images in this, I will store all of the images IDs in this variable. So I will map the images array, write this, and inside the image I can get like hashtag image dot id like this. So we can get all of the images id right here. So if I now console this, and I can see that all of the id has been stored right here. As you can see that it has 11 array, and from 0 to 10th, as you can see that all of the IDs has been stored in this variable like this. So after I have stored that array, what I will do is I will have to animate this, target this ID and animate it through GSAP. So before doing that, what I will do is I will have to initially put the images images position so that it will be at the center. And I will also change the opacity and the scale so that it will smoothly animate towards the opacity of 1 and towards the scale of 1. So to do that, I will use GSAP for that, gsap.set. I will, for the initial, I will put images ID right this, and from the top it will be 50 bx, and from the left it will be 50 bw, and scale will be 0.5. So now if I save this, and now if I look the images, as you can see that the images has been applied this effect. So we have initially applied this property to all of the images from targeting its IDs, right? So after that, what I will do is I will remove this ID. I will create a timeline of animation. So I will create TL equals to gsap.timeline like this, and I'll pass the defaults value so that all of the properties, all of the animation properties will be applied to each of the animation. So I will put a duration of 1.5, and I will put a ease of like power 3 out. You can play out with the ease and put out the suitable you like, power 3 dot out. So after the timeline has been created, what I will do is I will loop the array, because we have to apply animation for each of the images. So I'll using array for that. I will use image dot for each. I'll have to loop this images array, and I will use image and index. So we will not require the index. I will for each I will loop the images array, and I will create timeline of two animation which will be targeting our images dot id. Sorry, img dot id, because we are accessing every id from this images array, right? So after that, I will pass the animation value, which is from the image array. Image dot top, left will be image dot left, scale will be 1. Sorry, scale will be 1, opacity will be 1, duration will be 1, and sorry, and for the ease I will pass power 1 dot in out like this. uh what happened to this duration? I think also, sorry, it will be comma like this, right? Now if I save this, and now if I look at my code, as you can see that the animation has been applied, but what as you can see that all of the images has been come one by one. So this is not what we want. So to form the images in a stagger type of effect and to smoothly fade out, fade in, what I will do is I will create an identifier. I will create identifier inside here, and I will create this identifier a dynamic value so that each can have a dynamic smooth effect. A plus equals to, it will create a sort of like stagger type of effect. So I will multiply 2 into math.random. So what it does is it creates a random duration for each of the images, so that it will create something like of stagger effect, so that each image will come at a random position. Now if I save this, and if I now reload the page, as you can see that the images has been come like this, right? And it looks good, the animation looks good. So, and as you can see that the images start from here, so we can see that. So in order to resolve that issue, I will add opacity of 0 to the initial state of the image, so that it will be disappear from the viewport, and it will animate to the opacity also like this. So yeah, it looks good, the animation looks good. So we have created this images animation, right? It looks good, it looks good. So the as you can see that the image has been stretched out right here. The images are not looking good, they have been stretched. So to fix that, the object cover property will fix that. So the spelling was mistake in the previous code. Object cover right here, and I can, as you can see that the image has been covered right now. So if I reload the page, the animation has been triggered smoothly. The images come smoothly, and the images looks good, and it has this kind of magnet effect. And all of the images has this kind of magnet effect. So our image animation is done, or you can play with that timing or the position as you like and create something new. It is up to you guys to figure that out. So I have created this type of randomly timing animation so that it looks good. So after that, what I will do is will have to animate this text. As you can see that when I scroll this upper text is fading out, and this text slightly moves up, and between this real and people there is this image which will expand on the scroll like this, right? So firstly we will create the text content, then after we'll put the scroll trigger animation. So now let's create the text content, right? So to create the text content, I will write a comment of text content right here, and I will create a div like this. I mean, I will write something like real recommendations, like something like this. I will just copy and paste that text right here. Oh, I cannot copy this. Okay, okay, I cannot copy that. Sorry. It will be real recommendation, right? Like real recommendations. And if I save this, as you can see that it is positioned right here, right? So I will also position this absolutely so that it will be exactly at the center. I will position this absolutely, and from top it will be like 40 bh, and the font will be normal, text will be 52 px, and text will be center, font will be inter. Do I have inter font? No, I do not have inter font, so I'll put it like this, the normal font by default. Now, as you can see that the text has been applied right here, right? And it is looking good. It is looking good. So as you can see that we have added the heading right here. The real recommendation heading is right here. So in the original site, as you can see that there is also another text in next line by real people. So we'll have to add that text also. Now let's add that text. So to add that text, what I will do is I will have to create. So now what I will do is this text and another line text is I will put it inside a different div, right? So now I'll put it this in this div because we have to animate it separately. That's why I am doing that. And this div and another div will be like by real people, like this, right? As you can see that it has been applied right here. So now what I will do is I will have to add ID here so that I can animate this property. So I will write text underscore content to the content, sorry, text underscore content for this first text, and text underscore content second, right, for this second text, so that we will target this text and animate that. It is working perfectly. So now what I will do is, as you can see that when I scroll, this by real people text will slightly come upwards, and this real recommendation text is like it is fading out, as you can see that. And if I scroll back, it comes like this. So firstly, let's create this simple animation. So to create that text animation, let me use GSAP for that, right? So yeah, as you can see that this animation are linked with scroll. These text animation are linked with scroll. This animation are also linked by scroll. As you can see that it moves like this, right? So for that we'll have to use a GSAP tool called ScrollTrigger, as you have already seen that in my previous video also. So now what I will do is I will import ScrollTrigger from it's not from trial, it's from GSAP slash ScrollTrigger, and using that plugin. It is a plugin from GSAP. So if you are using any type of plugin, you have to register it so that GSAP knows that you are using ScrollTrigger plugin. Register plugin ScrollTrigger, like this, right? So now we have added the ScrollTrigger plugin. Now what I'll do is I'll have to create a timeline. I will create a separate timeline for this ScrollTrigger to animate any property through the scroll. So now what I will do is I will inside this gsap.timeline. So this is the timeline for our image, right? This is the timeline for our images. So after this image animation is complete, as you can see that. So after this image animation is complete on the first render, then we will have to animate this text and the images afterwards. So to do that, I will inside this timeline there is a function called onComplete function, which what it does is, right, what this onComplete does is, if this timeline is finished, after this image animation is finished, this function, this callback function will run, so that we can run our scroll trigger animation right here. So now what I will do is I will create a timeline called scroll timeline gsap.timeline, and pass it the scroll trigger property, which will trigger right from the parent container and parent container. So this parent container, I'll have to give the parent container in the parent div, right? Like this. So this is the parent container. So if this container is in the viewport, then our scroll trigger will trigger this scroll trigger animation, right? The scroll trigger animation will trigger after this parent container is in the viewport. So there is another property called start, and there are main properties for the scroll trigger to use. So now what I will do is, as you can see that in our, if we study this animation, so if we scroll this section, this whole section is like fixed, right? It is not going downward, it is sticking. This section, this whole section is sticking, and these images are moving, as you can see that. But this whole section is sticking, this whole section is fixed. So to fix that container, what I will do is I will pin this whole container so that it remains fixed. To do that, I will have to use pin true, and and the animation will start from top and end, and like you can give it like, actually I will give it like 3000 px. So after the parent container is like, so what it does is like the animation will start from top of this parent container and end the 3000 px below this parent container, so that there will be enough scrollable space to see the animation, right? So now if I save this, so we have not linked any animation, so that it does not work right here. But as you can see that this scroll bar appears, right? So that we can play with the animation. So now what I will do is I will also create a markers to be true, so that we can see our, so the I will also run the scrub so that it handles the reverse animation. Also I will put it 1 and pin spacing to false, pin spacing to true, so that it creates the additional space required for the animation. So instead of this hardcode value, what I will do is I will create another function. I will create another function called scroll distance, and which will be of window.inner height times 4, right? And for the end value, I will pass it like this, plus equals to scroll distance. So what it does is like from the parent container, this scroll distance will be appear at the bottom of the container, so that there will be enough scroll distance to scroll and play with the animation, so that animation does not feel any type of instant. So now if I save this, and now if I hit reload, animation is running, and after animation is completed, the onComplete callback will run, and as you can see that start is right here. So if I scroll this, the animation will start, and end parameter is right here, right? The end parameter is window.innerHeight into 4 times down. So this is how you can attach the scroll trigger to this animation. So now we have attached the scroll trigger and it is working perfectly. So now what I will do is it's time to animate our text and images, right? So first let's animate the text. I will close this right here. Now I will scroll timeline dot to. I will target the text content. It is the first content, ent, and the opacity will be 0. And for the identifier I will use it like scroll, so that we know that it is a scroll animation. So what it does is like, so initially, as you can see that initially the text content, its opacity is 1, right? Initially it is visible, but when we scroll, the opacity will slowly change to opacity 0, so that it will be invisible, like in our original animation. So now if I reload the page, the animation is running, and now if I scroll, so nothing is happening. Why is that? Let me check. There is something. There should be bug, right? Otherwise it should run. Opacity 0, text content. Let me copy this ID and pass it right here. Now if I hit reload, and if I scroll, as you can see that it is working, right? Now if I hit scroll, and if I scroll down, as you can see that the text is fading, right? The text is fading, yeah. And when I scroll, and when this end hits this end, it will be completely disappeared. As you can see that right here, it is completely disappeared, right? So yeah, this is how you can animate using scroll trigger. So now we animate this property. Now it's time to animate our second text. Now, yeah, first time you write scroll TL timeline dot to. Now second time you have to write dot to only. So it is linked with this scroll timeline, right? So I will write text underscore content underscore second. It is for our second text. I will give a y of -30 value, and identifier will be scroll. So why are we giving this identifier? Because this animation, this timeline, I will put it like this. So this timeline and this timeline, the animation should run parallelly, so that if we do not put this, firstly this animation will run, and after that this timeline will run, so that if we want to run this animation at like same time, we have to use this identifier, right? So if I reload the page, and if I now scroll, and if I scroll, nothing is happening. This is working, but this is not working. Why? Let me check that. Text contains second. It is right. I think the identifier is text content second. I think. Let me check that. Hashtag text content dot second. Scroll and scroll. It should work. I think it should work, right? As you can see that it is working, right? The identifier was incorrect on the first time. As you can see that it is moving 30 pf, right? Yeah, it is working. It is working. So now what I will do is we have animated the text. Now it's time to animate the images. As you can see that in the original section, if we scroll down, the images are moving, right? The images are moving away from the viewport. So there are lots of images. So now what I will do is I will animate the first image, right? So we have the first image right here. This is the first image. Let's animate this image. Now what I will do is I have created the timeline. Now it's time to animate the image. Dot two. I will target the hashtag first underscore image, write this like this, and in the y-axis I will move it like, sorry, -20 bw, and I will put it up scale of 2 so that the image will scale when on scroll. And from x I will put -200, and like this, right? Now if I save this and if I hit reload, it is working, it is working. Now if I scroll, as you can see that this image is animating, right? If I scroll that, this image is going up and it is scaling 2 times. As you can see that it is working, yeah. So why this is animating after this, after it is completed? As you can see that it is animating after the text has been fade out. Why is that? As you can see that in the original section, that is not happening. This and this are happening at the same time because we forgot to add the identifier right here. So I'll put it scroll, and I think the scroll distance is a little too much because the animation is uh taking too much of a time. So I will multiply it by 3 so that it is 3 times the viewport. Let me refresh the page. Now if I scroll, as you can see that it is this animation, and this animation are working parallelly, right? It is working, yeah, like this. So it is working smoothly. So as you can see that this text is like little bit shaky, right? It is not that much of smooth. So now what I will do is I will add a CSS hack to that property. Now what I will do is I will, inside the parent div, I will change transform so that CSS will prepare this div for the animation so that it will run smoothly, right? If I refresh the page and if I scroll, it is working smoothly, it is running smoothly, yeah. It is looking good, it is looking good. So I'll have to do the same thing for all of the images. So for that, I have already done that and I have already tried and tested the value. It is like same thing, right? You can play with the y value, scale, and x value for all of the images. There are like, how many images are there? There are like 11 images, right? There are 11 images. So for the 11th image, you have to put 11th animation in a 11 timeline. So what I will do is I will just copy and paste all of the timelines right here. From the first image, it's doing good, like this, yeah. I will put all of the timeline uh, like this. So I have already played with the value, and this is the value that I came up with, and you can write this value. You can pause the video and write this code. So there is not a specific order that I write. So after the first image, I write third image and 10th, 6th, 9th, 11th, 7th, 8th, second, like this, right? You get the idea. So if I save this, now if I hit reload, the loading animation is run. After that, as you can see that the whole images are fading out properly, right? And this looks good. This looks so fucking cool. So yeah, this looks badass. This animation is badass. So yeah, the image animation is complete, right? And it has the magnetic effect also, right? You can see that it has magnetic effect. So the image animation is done. Now the next part what I will do is, as you can see that if I scroll below, there is a image element, right? There is image element, and this image will scale and fill up the whole viewport. Yeah, this looks complex, but it is not as that complex as you think. We'll have to just put this container inside this text, right? Again, we have to separate this container. We'll put, but I am thinking is that by real, we will put this in one container. The image will be one container, the people will be one container, so that we will have to put that into 3 div, and we'll have to use flex and justify content center so that it align on the center. And on scroll, I will just scale this image to the whole viewport. Yeah, that is the logic that I am thinking, and let's implement that, right? So for the image, what I will do is I will use a PNG image, so that you can use any type of image, but I am planning to use this image as PNG and use this as a gray background, right? I will create a container with a gray background and put a gold PNG image. So I have already downloaded the image from the internet. So now what I will do is I will just copy and paste the image, right? I will put it, sorry, not here, put it right here. Uh, inside right here, I'll put this image, right? So yeah, this is the image I downloaded from the internet, which is like it is the cosplay from the Naruto series, as you have already know that. Yeah, so I will use that image as a scroll element, right? So now let's start the image animation, which was between this text, right? So now what I will do is I will split this text into separate its own span, own element, right? So I will remove it like this. Sorry, yeah, and I will create a span and by real, yeah, this was the text, and I will give it an ID of right left text, left underscore text, and I will put a div right here. It's for the image container, and after that I will put another span and I will put it people like this, and I'll give it a class name of padding left of 2. I'll give it a width of 200 px and bg of amber 200. Let's see what does it look like. Yeah, it is looking like this, but as you can see the problem, this div and this div are in column. So what we'll have to do is we'll have to use flex and put it on the row. This is the parent div. Sorry, this is the parent div. I will use class name of flex item center so that all of will be center and justify also centered, and I will put a gap of 1. And for this I will have to also give the ID of right text so that we'll have to animate it later. Now let's see what does it. Oh, it looks good, it looks good. Now if I scroll, let's just make sure that nothing is breaking up until now. If I scroll this, yeah, the animation is working. Yeah, I think everything is working perfectly, right? Everything is working perfectly. Yeah, it's looking good, it's looking good. Now let's put the image right inside this text, real and people. Now what I will do is inside this image container I will remove this comment and I will give it a ID of like image container because we have to animate it later. I will give the class name of bg of hashtag. I'll give this hex value 594E47, and I will give it a position of absolute and I will give it a z index of 20 so that it does not overlap with anything, right? And if I now save this and if I scroll, you will see nothing because we are not doing anything with that container. So let's put image right here, right this container. I will use an image class for that, like this. I will give it a class name of widthful, heightful, object will be cover, and for the source I have put the image inside this public folder. And now if I save this, as you can see that the images are of image have been appeared like this. And if I scroll that, yeah, the image is hiding the text. So as you can see that in the original site, the image has scale 0 property. I mean the image is not visible in the viewport at start. So now if I scroll as you can see that after scrolling, the image will appear and smoothly fill the whole viewport, right? So now what I will do is I will have to animate this property to view on the only on the scroll only, right? So yeah, everything looks good up until now. After that, let's continue our timeline animation. So this is the timeline for the scroll. Now I will add another dot 2 because we are animating in this scroll trigger timeline, because this image animation is linked with the scroll, right? If you scroll dash, this image animation is linked with scroll, so we'll have to put it inside this scroll timeline, right? This timeline. So now let's do that. I will target the image container, image underscore content, sorry, image underscore container, and its width will be, sorry, width will be 100 pw because it is the 100 viewport. It will cover the entire screen. Height will be 100 bh and scale will be 1. Delay will be, I will put a certain delay and it will be duration of like 3. Let's write this value, and because we're animating the scale and the scale property and width and height, so we'll have to make sure that this property, this image has width 0 and height 0 and scale 0. So to do that, on the first I'll set that property with GSAP stack image underscore container, so that it is the initial value of the image container, right? It is the initial value of the image container. Top, sorry, not top, width, sorry, not windows, width 0, it's the initial value of the image container. Height will be 0 and scale will be 0, like this. I'll remove this extra space. Now if I save this, and yeah, I'll have to also put the identifier right there, scroll. Now if I save this and if I hit reload, the image has been disappeared from the viewport. Now if I start scrolling, as you can see that the image has been come, right? It comes from this section right there and it fills the entire viewport. As you can see that it is looking good. It is looking good. Yeah. So as you can see that in the original animation, if you scroll, the text is also moving, right? The left text and the right text are also moving with scroll. So to create that effect, I will have to add another dot 2 and I'll have to create like another timeline for that text also. Let's do that. Dot 2 left underscore text. X will be minus 50 pw. Delay will be like 1. Duration will be 4 for this section, and it will be of scroll, and same for the right also, right? I'll just copy and paste this and use this as right. So X will be, I will put it like 40 pw. Delay will be 1. Duration will be, I'll just put it 4. Yeah, let's see what does it look like. Now if I save this, the text or the left text and the right text would also move, right? Now if I scroll, as you can see that the text are also moving, right? Yeah, the text are also moving. So this text is moving slow, this text is moving fast. Now what I will do is I will put a duration of 3 in both of these, and I will put it minus 40 also right here. Let's see what does it look like. The loader animation is completed, and after that if I scroll, yeah, it is looking good, it is looking good. Yeah, so yeah, the animation is, I think, complete, right? The animation is complete. Yeah, this is how you can create this type of animation right here, or you can add the next section where you can put another content, right? Yeah, this animation is also right here. Maybe we can, if you comment on this video, like we can create this and we can continue this series and like build the whole fucking website. I mean, it will take time, but yeah, if the video, if this is the type of content you want, then we will surely create this content, right? We'll surely create this animation. It has some type of cool animation and this type of effect also. Let me know if you want to if you want me to create this type of animation, right? Yeah, this has also this nice effect. This also looks good. Let me know in the comment section if you want me to create this section also, right? If the videos get views, then I will surely create this animation also. So yeah, this is the animation that I'm talking right here, and I have built this animation, and I will, yeah, I will not provide the code because I want you to code with me, right? I want you to code along me with this video and share me the result. Like if I put the code, then you can just clone in and not do the hard work, but I want you to really code and do the hard work. That's why I'm not sharing this code. Yeah. So yeah, if you have any, yeah, for if you are a client and looking for any website to build, then you can contact me through my email, and yeah, I will put the email in the description section also. So you can contact me and we will can build uh we can build a project together. And yeah, I can work as a freelancer also. I am also looking for project to work. Yeah, and if you can provide me the project, then we can work together and build an amazing product, right? So yeah, this is the end of this video, and I will see you in my next video.